I don't know if y'all saw that post earlier where I spoke on the lunar Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom, moving into the lunar Shabbat, which is something that our ancestors and ancestresses observed in the way of the phases of the moon. There was a time when people all over the world didn't have the type of recording techniques that we do today. And there was definitely a point in time when the Gregorian calendar didn't exist to tell us what day it was, and we had to go off of the moon. And if I'm correct, there would usually be 13 full moons in a year, 12 to 13 full moons. And these full moons, they let us know what period of the month we were in. And then we would wait for the new moon. And today in modern times, that new moon is considered when there's no moon in the sky, when the moon is hard to see, right? Difficult to see. But my studies have led me to realize the new moon is actually that first waxing moon, that first crescent, and then you count from there. So counting from that first crescent for this new month till today, this is actually day of rest on a Wednesday, okay, on the Gregorian calendar. And so that's something to really think about as you continue your studies and your walk. Really taking charge of your life to the best of your ability. Really taking charge of your own destiny in this place. You know what I mean? Just doing the due diligence that it takes to get to a place in your own mind where you can get through the mental blockages of what society and what uh, a perceived culture would dictate to you versus what you're being led to do, what finally are led to see, for yourself. And then what you do with that information once you got it. That's where a lot of the courage. Each step of the road, it takes courage. It takes courage to break from free from the mental chains, and it takes courage to actually get with a new program, a new set of thinking. And I hate to have to use that word program in the sense of being programmed, but that's what it is. A lot of us are born into this world, and our mama, our daddy did the best that they could with what they was given when they was born in. And if what they was given when they was born in might not be the best way to live or the best mode of thought, then you have to do the due diligence in yourself to correct those things and don't blame them for something that they might have lacked mentally or spiritually at that time. Now, obviously, if they had these tenets and they had these things deep within them, but they chose not to share them with you or not to teach you, then that, instead of being bitter and upset, we look at the divine will of the Most High taking place in our lives, you know, and that's what I want to talk about real quick, the divine will of the Most High, and how we have elders and we have children right now in our society that are crying out for help on both sides of the spectrum, those coming in and those who are getting ready to head on out. And I remember when I was a little boy, one of my aunties, my Aunt Louise, would take her, my cousin, and maybe one of my siblings would come on with us. But I remember it was usually at least two or three of us that would go to Good Samaritan Baptist Church out there in Vallejo. And we would go down, and officiating pastor was Reverend Slade back in the day, Reverend Slade. And she would take us. We'd be outside playing, minding our business, just having fun. She say, "Hey, y'all need to come with me because we finna go to the church and we finna go and deliver some bags." Now, usually that meant when we was going to go to the church and deliver some bags, it was time to put everything to the side for the day. And sometimes we would even we grew to love it. But at first, it was one of the things where we could leave even if we didn't get our homework done yet. So that's why we really love it. You got about 15, 20, 30 minutes to play outside. Then it's the schoolwork, homework. And then if you're done with that, you can go back outside. But on these days, we really wouldn't even have to do no homework early like that. And we could hop in the car and she would take us down to the church. Then we go down into the church kitchen, which was at the bottom level of the church. And that's where they had the food pantry. Everything was down there. It was like shelves that was loaded up with different boxed goods, canned goods, bagged beans and rice and things like that, boxes of cereal. And all of these things was either donated or they was purchased through the church and then stored in the kitchen down there. And what we would do is she would have us bagging up different bags, and each bag had a name on it. Each bag had a destination, and the bag would be filled up with necessities: beans, canned goods, um, rice, cereal, sometimes some sort of little dessert food. That in each location, each bag meant a location, a destination that we had to go to, and we would hop in our car. We would load them bags up. She would tidy up whatever she needed to in the kitchen. Then she'd get in the car and we'd drive off. And the very first time that we did this, we didn't know where we was dropping them bags off. You know, when you a child, you just seeing all that food. Is that our food? You know, you used to go on grocery shopping, but none of the food would be for us. Not a bag, not a morsel, not a can. And she had a list. And on this list, it was all the elders of the church that wasn't able to come to church on Sundays or come to Bible studies. Some of the elders could be bedridden. Some of the elders, uh, they was mobile inside, but they might not have had transportation, or they might not have been able to leave the house and get too far away from their medication, but they could still walk around their home and at least open the front door. And that very first time we did that, we went, I don't know how many houses we went to, but everybody was an elder. And I remember walking up the steps of particular elders' homes and not knowing at the time that that's what we was doing, but recognizing certain neighborhoods like, "Dang, we never been over here before, not for this, you know, and knocking on that door, and an elderly woman opened the door, and she just greet us with a smile and be so happy that somebody thought about her and that somebody took the time to bag up these groceries and deliver them to her, and when she couldn't do it herself. And we did this multiple times, and it was through doing that that I learned a couple things. One, I learned that you never know who people is connected to. um, Walking inside of a home that you've never been in before, sometimes you'd be surprised at what you see on the walls. You'll see all sort of family pictures and heirlooms and a bunch of images that that particular person is very proud to display, happy to display. And in those images, you'll see a lot of celebrities and famous people that you didn't even know was connected to this person. And when you're looking at these celebrities on the wall and everything, you get to asking, "Oh, you know this person? Yeah, that's my first cousin, and that's my cousin over here. Or that's actually my brother. That's my sister." You like, whoa, you connected to all these people. I know I got some history like that myself, but this ain't about me like that. So I didn't know that other people could have that sort of experience as well. But the other thing I learned is just how endearing and kind elders are, and grateful elders actually are when they have reached a point in their lives when they can no longer do for themselves. And in the world today, I see, like, I just see so much where people, the majority of people, I'm not going to, this definitely not everybody, definitely not everybody. There are still so many pockets of warm hearted people all over the place, but I noticed that love is truly conditional these days. Okay. A lot of love given is truly conditional. And I also noticed that we're in this age of the smartphone and the cell phone and social media era where when things are done that appear to be kind for others, they always record it as if somebody needs to see what's being done. And, in the scriptures, it tells us not to. promote or to brag and boast about the kind things that we do for others. We don't have to telegraph them. We don't have to uh, put them in a newspaper or nothing like that. Just do it. And in my experience, the kindness that I've gotten over my life from just doing and being kind, especially to the elders and the children, has been very rewarding in that people are truly grateful when certain sacrifices are made on their behalf in areas where they're not able to do for themselves. The elders that I would encounter always had a story to tell. They was always grateful, always thankful, always gave us a big hug. And I remember at times they would even reach into their purse or they shirt up here and they bra. Or they keep all their money. You know the woman bank is her bra. And she'd reach out and give us each $1 and say, go on and get some candy. Go on to the gas station and get you some now and laters or something that you like to eat. And we would just be happy, not even knowing that that's what we was gonna get. Just the honor to be able to deliver that food and know that we doing something that's actually helping somebody is the payment that really made us feel good. And the more we would do that, the more that sometimes that bad count would drop down because we found out that day that Mrs. So and so passed away. And we didn't need to go to her home any longer because she wasn't there no more. And those would be sad times. Or Mr. So and so, he's actually not in his home no more. His health has diminished so much that now he's in a care home. And that brings me to care homes. A lot of our families today, for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's about the means because I know that these care homes cost a lot of money per month to put elderly folks in them. But I think that we need to go back to that old school, taking care of Big Mama, taking care of Big Papa, and actually tend to them under our own roof when it comes time for that aspect of their life. The same way they tended to us and wiped our booties when we couldn't even do nothing as babies is the same way that we need to take care of them. And I see a lot of folks pretty much dumping they old folk, they elderly off into these old folks' homes. And the old folks' homes, the elderly homes, the care homes, most of those nurses there, they're there because they get paid to be there. Okay, it's not nothing that they necessarily want to do, but they're there because they get a check to be there. And there are many instances and cases where the old folks end up being abused and mistreated, and it's not a good look. And I know for a fact that when old folks see their family or close friends come through and say hello and stop by, that brightens up so many people's day. So I just wanted to make this video to remind you and everybody that comes across it to go out of your way and be kind to an elderly person. Go out of your way and help them. When you in the store and you walking around and you see an elderly person going like this, it's not at an aisle, at a food aisle. It's not because they um, it's not because they are really just scouring the aisles to see what it is, but it's because they might not be able to see all the way. Or you see them looking like this in the aisle and ain't nobody around, but you happen to walk over to that person and see if you can help reach something from off top of that aisle or that cabinet or whatever they need help with. You see somebody pushing a cart and they seem kind of frail. See if you could help them push the cart. Or you can help them load up their groceries into their car. Now, like I said, we live in an era right now where even some elderly folks is hip to different scams and different things going on and false help. So they might at first be hesitant. But it's all in your approach. It's all in your approach and your heart and the light that you convey to them in that moment. The children, we have to learn how to continue to be kind to the children. One of the best ways I learned to be kind to children is being an example of goodness, you know, doing that thing that most folks won't do in society due to a cold heart, a hardened heart. So when a child sees you doing the proper example, like for instance, um, shopping. You might have your food at the checkout stand or something, and you're getting everything checked out, and you got some things at the bottom of your cart that you really wanted, maybe some soda water, some pop or something like that, and you just forgot to put it up on the register. So you walk out and your child is with you. You walk out and you get to the car, you start loading up everything. You say, "Oh man, didn't no alarm go off or nothing. I forgot to pay for this soda." Well, you got a decision to make right there. You can either take that soda, put it in your trunk and pull off like nothing happened, or you can take the soda back inside and you can say, "You know what? I forgot to pay for this and I need to pay for this." That child is going to see either choice that you make. And it's interesting because the child will remember that. And what'll happen is when the child is confronted with a situation like that in the future, they're gonna remember what their mama or their daddy did in that type of situation. And if you was a parent that just took the soda and walked off with it, knowing that you didn't pay for it, well, more than likely a child is going to do that, and worse, they're going to just walk into the store and just take the soda, forgetting it or not. It don't have to be no forgetfulness. The child is going to take it because they saw mama and papa do it. If the child sees you make an effort to go back inside and correct a miscommunication, then the child is going to see that and say, you know what, I have to take the extra step to go back in there and right this wrong so that I pay for what it is I actually wanted to have. You know, we have to we have to be kind. We have to be generous. We have to move in the way of charity, but we have to realize that the Most High is going to take care of all charitable contributions. When your heart is touched, and what I mean by this is the reward of being charitable. When you realize on your heart that it's something that you should be doing in the moment for someone that is not able to do for themselves, that's where you have a choice. That's where you have a choice to either be that facilitator, or you have a choice not to be that facilitator and totally look over that person. Um, a simple smile, a simple hello, a simple how are you doing, and waiting for the answer goes a long way in life today. Okay? A simple thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir. Can I get that door for you, ma'am? Can I get that door for you, sir? Oh, I was walking by the aisle. Do you need somebody to help you with that, ma'am? You don't got to be a store clerk. You don't got to be the person that's the employee at the store to help somebody in a moment of time. So I just want to remind us who are still able bodied, who are still strong, who still have our youth to do those things that actually matter in life. Charity covers a multitude of sins. Love covers a multitude of sins. And that's part of the biggest reward. When we talk about the divine will of the Most High, we're talking about every single thing that could ever happen happening. Okay? Every single thing that can happen is going to happen. In the scriptures, the Most High even tell us that evil and good is created by the Most High. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes because we want to live in a world of daisies and tulips and unicorns and all of that. But I think in my own personal experience, the reason why so-called evil is presented to us in the way that it is, it's a test. It's to refine us. And I know a lot of people who are atheists would say, well, why does a God that can create good only want to create evil? Well, it's a test, you know? And a lot of times we are tested in moments when we don't even know we tested. And that's when the test really is. That's what you call a pop quiz right there, a papa quiz. And so we have to utilize our careful thinking in our hearts in all things. And when we're tested, once we realize in hindsight that it was a test, then again, we have some decisions and choices to make. Are we going to be bitter in that testing? Once the test was revealed to be a test, are we going to be bitter moving forward, upset that we was tested and might have failed the test? Are we going to be happy that we were able to get tested and then get through the test and still reflect on it? See, all of these things matter in life, y'all. All of these things matter and they build character. All of the tests, build character, build experience, so that if you retain your lesson, when you get tested, you'll pass the testing. Okay? So, being kind is very important. It covers a multitude of sins. Sins are those things that we erroneously do in our lives that lower our frequency and our vibratory energy on the walk toward our destiny. Okay? So we have to just really take an opportunity to reflect and then do better. All of us have an opportunity to do better in life. All of us should be striving for that spiritual perfection in life. No matter your creed, no matter what you believe in, even the atheist should strive to do the best that he or she can do in life, you know. And whatever happens with that individual throughout life, they're going to either blame it on their own actions or they're going to blame it on circumstance. Uh, Most atheists believe in coincidence, so all those sorts of things take play at that moment. But when it comes to really being spiritual, grounded, a lot of us call ourselves religious, spiritual, and then at the drop of a dime, we can flip out and wig out, and we do things in response to the test that might not be as sound to our spiritual walk. And then we end up feeling guilty about it. Then we end up beating ourselves up about it. Then we end up staying in a low vibe. And that's honestly what the devil wants us to do. The devil don't want us to recognize the test for the lesson to be tested and then pass the test and retain the lesson. The devil want us to sulk and to be sad and to be upset and angry with ourselves, so much so that we stay in that energy and continue to look for that energy in other places. And if we look for that energy in other places, then we never rise above it. And we can never transmute it and actually just deal with that first original moment and then move forward through any subsequent moments while actually rising to the challenge. No, the enemy wants us to stay in a sulky mentality so that we continue to magnify that circumstance and magnetize like energy to us that keeps us low. Because when we low, that's when the enemy could really attack. So this just a reminder to lift up your vibe, lift up your energy by doing something kind. And most people that need something kind done for them are those without, the homeless, the elderly, the children who path you might cross, and the children more than likely will even be with their parents who might be your peers. So you have an opportunity to do something for a multitude of people, and you don't have to worry about being rewarded by these people who you do for. When I mentioned the elderly folks giving us $1 here, $1 there, we never left and got in that car, my auntie car, to go to the church expecting to get $1. That's not what we did. We enjoyed at first the opportunity to not have to do no homework, but then we realized that the real homework was packing up these groceries and loading them up into the trunk, loading them up into the car. Some days we have so many bags we have to sit them on our lap while we was driving to the destination, and getting out and actually delivering these groceries to somebody's home who needed them, who wasn't able to work, who wasn't able to leave. That was the real homework. And the values instilled in us early on helped us to become great individuals today. So when we can recognize these things and we can apply them successfully to our lives, we'll be doing the world a great service. And we can actually remove some of this spiritual wickedness and evil that's taken over the land right now. And we can replace it with spiritual goodness and spiritual righteousness and spiritual light. So look, I just want to tap in with y'all real quick. I just wanted to say hello. How y'all doing? Um, for those of you who do recognize the lunar Shabbat, tonight is the Shabbat. You can look in the sky, see the phase of the moon. Now, today being what day it is, I forget the actual date. I know it's Wednesday, but I forget the date. Whatever the date is today, what is it, the 5th or something? I forget. But whatever the date is, that date will always change on the Gregorian calendar now. So don't expect the 5th of next month to be the Shabbat. In order to successfully identify the lunar Shabbat, you have to look at the first crescent moon. And then you have to look at what day on the Gregorian calendar that is. And then you can mark it off successfully for that month if you still want to use the Gregorian calendar. I did a whole study on it some years back, and I posted it on the community thread if y'all are interested. It's called the Lunar Shabbat. It's on the Gatekeeper Ministries channel. So y'all can go check that out. Um, just a couple updates. The book, my book, From Clutter to Cleanliness, The Renewal of a Mind, a Success Story, is out and available in all formats now, hardcover, paperback, and 3 digital formats. The situation with my websites where there was some hacking going on, there's a serious hack movement taking place right now, and we've secured the website. We secured my websites. It was something very nefarious taking place for sure. But we don't let nothing knock us and drop us. We keep on moving. Um, my music will be released this Friday on the 7th, exclusively on my YouTube channel, on the True Jew YouTube channel. I'm doing it like that because I want everybody to be able to access it. I don't know if y'all are online, offline, but if you're online and you find that to be too cumbersome, I am making the album available on truejew.org, so you can purchase it for $9.99. It'll be on truejew.org. 16 saucy dope tracks filled with the light, filled with the truth, filled with righteousness, not self righteousness, but filled with righteousness, really using all aspects of this experience right now in 2022 to deliver a modern message that I hope wins many souls for the Most High. Y'all will be able to get that for offline listening on my actual truejew.org website. Okay. And you'll get all the tracks instant download. And I'm also going to be making the album available for CDs for those of you all who still want a hard copy CD. All right, so all of that will be on my website. But like I said, you'll be able to stream the album daily, however long you want, right here off the channel, off the True Jew channel on YouTube. So I'm looking very forward to that. A lot of hard work went into the album behind the scenes over the past 3 weeks or so. So right after I did Battle Worn and Playing with Clips, I was like, hey, I might need to do an album. I have a lot of music that's still on ice, but I'm such a creative that if I don't release certain music when I originally recorded, sometimes I just don't even want to release it. And I just listen to it for myself. I sit it on ice, and I like to see how timeless certain pieces of music are. They're still timeless months after, a year or so after I originally recorded it. Then I'll release it. But this music is totally fresh. Just listening to the music since I've been out of post production has me like, what in the world? Thank you, Most High. Like this is the best. It's the best I've ever done. And I got this saying, only as dope as the last thing you did. And this album right here is gonna change lives for sure. And it's just that phenomenal. And so the quality is there, everything is there. It's gonna be a lot of Shabbats and a lot of days where you got some free time. You listening to this one. I'm telling y'all right now, the replayability of the tracks is 10 out of 10. There's something that you more than likely are gonna miss in each track, and then have to go back and listen to it again, and really get the full edification of each track. That's how dope everything is. And so I'm looking forward to its release. It's called Speaking True. Like I said, it's gonna be 16 tracks, wholesome tracks, absolutely no cussing, okay, no foul language. I use serious circumstances though to convey a story. Each track is definitely a story track. Each track has some sort of spiritual significance to it. Now, I'm not trying to bash everybody over the head with what I feel everybody needs, okay? The blessing with this album is that the energy of wants versus needs has been mixed up very well. Okay, so I'm giving you what you want, and I'm giving you what you need. I've never created the music quite like this, where you be able to knock and bob your head to it while also thinking deeply, while also being entertained, while also enjoying the sound itself. You know, so I mean, I'm just real excited. I'm very excited. I'm super excited. I'm super juiced, and I know all of y'all who've been supporting this channel, y'all deserve this too. You know, you don't. We none of us deserve to have to turn on the radio these days and be taken over by all sorts of devilish and wicked music that they don't care about our babies. They don't care about our conscience. They don't care about what we actually listening to. They just putting stuff out there. Um, this isn't that. Speaking true, this right here is what I believe the Most High, man of the Most High, is supposed to do when it comes to this gift of music. Using it in this way, using it in this way. I think it's going to be a very influential and innovative album. I think a lot of people is going to take note of it. I think a lot of people is going to be inspired by it and want to replicate parts of it in some way. Um, the thing about me as an artist, real quick, I don't listen to my peers. All right, I know that might seem kind of crass, but I don't listen to my peers. Like the J. Cole's, the Drakes, and the Kendricks, and all of those guys. I don't listen to them. The primary reason is being because those guys have much acclaim in the major scene of music. They have a lot of acclaim. And usually, when an artist has a lot of acclaim like that, and many people listen to them, there's something about their sound that is influential and can seep into another artist's energy space when it comes time to create. And I don't want any outside or external influences subconsciously dictating how I should move in my project. I want everything to come from the Holy Spirit, from the Ruach, and then to come through me, through the music, back into the world, you know? And so that's why I don't listen to my peers like that. Also, I'm not an energy vampire, okay? So I don't feel as though I should be in some writer's slump or some producing slump and then listen to people who are highly acclaimed to try to steal their juice and their energy and apply their energy to what I'm doing. So that's the other thing about this album. It's completely original, and y'all are just going to hear the music in a new way. It's just simple as that. Y'all are going to hear the music in a new. It's going to have you looking at your phone screen like, what in the world did I just listen to? Like, and not in a bad way, not in a bad way at all. You're gonna be like, you're gonna listen to the song, you're gonna get through it, and he's just gonna be sitting there like, that was amazing. Like, what? That was amazing. And I just hope that y'all give up the glory and the praise to the Most High, because I sure know I am. Anytime y'all hit me with a compliment on this new music, it's not going to my head. It's going straight to the Most High. All right. So I just want y'all to know I came into this doing a service, calling myself doing my service and what I'm supposed to do. You know, I want the elders to be able to listen to this music. Yeah, it's modern sounds, but with this type of message, and how I'm bringing it, I know the elders will be able to really rock to this. I have children myself. So, speaking of being kind to the children, I would be a total hypocrite to get up here and produce messages that my own children couldn't listen to or that I wouldn't feel comfortable with my children listening to. I saw a post talking about Cardi B, and Cardi B, she makes all sorts of messages, but she does have children. And in this post, it was just talking about how Cardi B says she don't let her children listen to her music. So why should we let our children listen to Cardi B music? And I found some truth in that. I've heard a couple of Cardi B songs before, and they are not the most clean, let's say, the most edifying as far as what we would want for our children. But our children are being influenced not only by artists like her, but excuse me, not only her, but artists like her. And so I just I remember somebody said something on that Beyonce video I did, and a few people they didn't know who I was, and I don't know who they is, but they was looking at me as if to say, "Man, you just trying to create content, and you attacking." They was definitely part of the Beehive. Oh, you just trying to create content because Beyonce is an artist, a recording artist, and she does so much for us and this. And I'm like, well, first of all, Beyonce ain't did nothing for me. Okay. When I was in the world and I used to, really be on that secular hype with the music and everything, I thought Beyonce was a cool artist, and her and Jay-Z. But when it comes to the salvation of many and the edification that many need and the guidance and leadership through influence that those high ranking celebrities have, and they choose to go a different way with it, a way that serves Satan and the devil, at this point in my life, I got to speak on it. That's just, I got to. And so they misconstrued my message as being one of an attack, as if I wasn't a recording artist myself, or that I was a hater, or that I was jealous of her recording abilities. And I'm not jealous or hateful of her at all. But this album right here, I'm really excited for my own personal self because it's so good, it's great that anybody who thought that I was hating on Beyonce because I wasn't a recording artist myself or up to that level, they tripping. And the dope thing about this is I don't need no demonic spirits to enter into my body. I don't need no alter ego to help me create. I'm not one way off camera or off recording, and then I got to go into some mystical seance or something like that to incorporate demons into my being to be able to record and all this. Nah, 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 nah. It's a gift from the Most High. And so that's what I believe set apart music is all about, pushing a hard line, speaking your testimony, getting it out there, retaining your lessons to the point where you marinated on them so hard where you can deliver the lesson that you learn through the medium of music in order to help another person who's going through a similar thing, you know. So on that level alone, it's not to nitpick nobody. It's just to say that all those people who would have assumed that I was just being facetious, they got another thing coming because this music is definitely high level. It's high level spiritual, and I'm saying it's the best album of the year on all fronts. Independent, major, don't matter. All the tracks are congruent. Just to let y'all know, Battle Worn and Playing with Clips is not gonna be on this album. Okay, it's not gonna be on this album. I released those as singles, so those singles won't be on the album at all. But they'll still be available on the True Jew channel, so y'all can keep on streaming them as you want to. But these songs, the reason is these Battle Worn and Playing with Clips just didn't fit. They just didn't fit sonically on the album. Okay, just sonically speaking, they didn't fit. And um, I didn't record those at my studio, so I was on a certain time limit and things like that when I recorded Battle Worn and Playing with Clips, and I didn't get into the nuances of those songs the way I did these other ones. Um, I recorded, I mixed, I mastered, I engineered, I post produced all of the songs on this album. I had some help with the production to help me with time to stay on track with my goal, and we all did what we needed to do. We turned out on this one, y'all. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just telling you right now. We turned up and we turned it out. That's all I know. These songs are magnificent. All right, you never heard nothing like them. All right, and you still you know the vibe, you know the feel, but you ain't never heard these. Okay, so that's what I love the most. Totally new. The Most High is always going to do a new thing through His children. The Most High is always going to do new things to showcase the light and the love that's still present on this earth. And that's why we mustn't give up. We mustn't give in. We was born champions. We was made to win. We never know what a new day is going to deliver to us. We never know what a new day is going to bring. We never know the excitement of a day. But each day we got to plug. Each day we got to give it our all. Each day we got to give it our best. And if you feeling low, and if you feeling like you don't know where to go and you don't know what to do, just do something kind. It's always an elder who can use a helping hand. Okay, it's always a little child. I remember I was at the gas station, and this young sister, she couldn't have been no older than my oldest, and she's probably in between my eldest and my second. Uh, And so she could have been anywhere from 10 to 12. And she walked out the gas station. She had her a arm full of ices. I'm talking about little girl must have had at least 5 or 6 Slurpees of ices, you know. And she was making her way toward the door, and somebody else was walking out too. And they seen her. We all seen her coming because you couldn't have missed the little girl. She had the ices in her hand. She just paid for them and everything. And I watched this person who was right in line. So it was two, you know how it be, two cashiers, one to be right here and the other be right there, and then both people end up kind of paying at the same time, so they walk away at the same time. Well, it was a situation like that, and the first person who paid was able to walk away a few seconds right before the little girl, but nonetheless they was headed out the door at the same time. This dude seen the little girl, and he literally opened the door just far enough for himself and let that door close off onto this little girl, and she couldn't even hardly open. She couldn't open the door. I hurried up and ran over, and I opened the door for the little girl. She said, "Thank you, sir." And I said, you welcome, baby girl." And she walked out. She got to wherever her car was, where her transportation was. And I looked at that situation. I said, now there goes somebody older than me. This person wasn't no elder. This was a middle-aged person. And I said, why this person couldn't take a moment to open this door for this little girl, seeing that she had her arms full like that. And I realized in that moment that more than likely that happened to that individual many times, and nobody did anything to hold the door open for that individual. But this is where we don't allow bitterness to kick in, y'all. This is where, when something isn't done for you the way you had hoped it to be done, you take that hope that you had, that you wanted that thing to be done, that hope you had, and you reflect it and redirect it. And you use that hope during a situation and circumstance where you actually could use it for somebody else. Okay, so I wanted the door open for me. That was in my mind. I know I want somebody to hold the door open for me if I got a handful of groceries, and they don't do that, and the door gets slammed in my face. Well, then when I have the opportunity to do that, to hold the door for somebody else, I don't want to just walk away and let the door slam in their face because it was slammed in my face. I want to take that same hope that I had that somebody would help me on, and I didn't get that help. Now I want to keep my heart warm, and I want to be able to be the help that I wanted. Okay. I want to be the help that I wanted. You understand? And so now when I'm in a situation on the other side of that coin and I could actually help, I either help or I slam the door in their face. And I choose to hold that door open. So look, it's your brother True Jew tapping in with y'all. You know I love you to life always. Shabbat Shalom to all of those who are celebrating and honoring the lunar Shabbat tonight. Okay. Like I said, you could go to the community thread on this channel and can access that lunar Shabbat study. It's all good. Go ahead on and check it out. It's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours and a half. I forget, but it's up there. It's full. It's packed with all the info you need to get your studies started on the lunar Shabbat. Okay, I didn't leave nothing out to the best of my ability. That's why I didn't touch on it again. But tonight definitely is the lunar Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom. I wish you all peace and harmony and blessings of abundance as you continue to move forward through your evening, no matter where you are in the world. Continue to be a light. Continue to be one who walks upright and righteous. Continue to be charitable. Continue to be loving. Continue to keep your heart warm. Continue to keep your mind open. Keep your head on a swivel. Continue to watch out for those who are not able to watch out for themselves. Continue to be a blessing to those who have a hard time being a blessing to others, so you could continue the light and love of the Most High in this place. Wicked seems to be winning, y'all. Evil seems to be winning, but it's not going to win. Okay? It's not going to win. You have an opportunity to be great, so you keep on being great. I love you to life always. Most High Mama, Papa willing, I'll be back with another one. But until then, gone.